Oh my God. If you have made it this far, you have made it 72 hours. We are done with day 3. That really is the hardest part. Going 3 days, if you can do 3 days, not smoking at all, not even a hit of a cigarette, no nicotine, then you can do the rest of it. The 3 days is really the hardest. Psychologically, it is incredibly difficult to do. And it seems like everybody that tries to quit smoking becomes a pessimist when they have a lack of nicotine. I think the brain just automatically gets put in such a foul mood that it'll deter people to be more likely to be upset, to catch things that otherwise wouldn't have impacted them so largely. They let it impact them on a grand scale. And if something actually bad happens, then it's like the world's ending. So that 72 hours is crazy. I want to congratulate you for making it this far. It's amazing. And I want to run down some effects that happen to your body when you quit smoking. I'm just going to run up to the point where we're at right now, okay? So 20 minutes after your last cigarette, it said that the positive health effects of quitting smoking begin 20 minutes after your last cigarette. Your blood pressure and pulse will start to return to more normal levels. In addition, fibers in the bronchial tubes that previously didn't move well due to constant exposure to smoke will start to move again. This is beneficial for the lungs. These fibers help to move irritants and bacteria out of the lungs, helping reduce the risk for infection. So I want to recommend and plug an app right now. I don't really get anything for plugging it, but I'm going to tell you guys it because I think it's helpful, especially if you have a smartwatch. It's an app called Breathe, and it is a deep breathing exercise. I recommend that you try this app out while you're quitting smoking. You'll feel and see the progress of your deep breathing becoming easier to do, and it just feels better to take deep breaths. Oh, there's Khaleesi. Yep, she's always got to join in and say hi. All right. I just got home, so she's missing me. Let's move on. So 8 hours after your last cigarette. Within 8 hours, your carbon monoxide levels will return to a more normal level. Carbon monoxide is a chemical present in cigarette smoke that replaces oxygen particles in the blood, lowering the amount of oxygen your tissues receive. That's not healthy for you. And there's a reason why people that have smoked for 50, 60 years, they look a little bit less hydrated than other people. I don't think it is entirely due to this, but it could be the increasing amount of carbon monoxide that is pumped into their system. When carbon monoxide goes away, your oxygen levels start to increase to more normal levels. This increased oxygen helps nourish tissues and blood vessels that were getting less oxygen while you were smoking. So maybe I am correct. Maybe it is a direct correlation. So you'll age a lot better by having less carbon monoxide getting pumped into your system. 24 hours. This is the day 1 victory. 24 hours after your last cigarette. By the 1 day mark, you've already decreased your risk of heart attack. Already, just in 1 day. That's got to say something. That's a profound chemical effect on us. If 1 day away from it reduces our likeliness of having an heart attack. This is because of reduced constriction of veins and arteries, as well as increased oxygen levels that go to the heart to boost its functioning. Nicotine levels in your bloodstream have also decreased to negligible amounts at this time. And how about the 2-day reward here? 48 hours, previously damaged nerve endings start to regrow. You may also start to notice that senses that were previously dulled due to smoking improve. You may realize that you're smelling and tasting things better than you were before. So, I don't really mean to recommend to you guys to replace one vice with another, but definitely try some of your favorite foods as you're quitting smoking. It gives you a dopamine hit to make you feel good, okay, so that compensates and helps your brain out with its little struggle of not getting its chemical fix of nicotine. Plus, the foods that you love are going to start to taste better and better. And your taste buds and your flavors, what you think you like and don't like, are going to change. For instance, last year, I hated bell peppers growing up. And then it got to the point the only time I would have a bell pepper is if it was on a specific pizza from a specific company. There's a company local to where I'm from that is called Peter Piper Pizza, and they have some crazy bell peppers. I don't know what to tell you. They taste different than other bell peppers. And I had a veggie pizza once because it was the last slice of pizza that was left and nobody was eating it. And I was like, well, I'm still hungry. I'm going to go for this thing. I picked the onions off, left the bell peppers on. Don't like onions on pizza. That's a bad move. People complain about pineapple on pizza. No, it's onions. It should never ever be on pizza. Fight me. Anyways, no, you don't have to fight me over it. You can have whatever you want on your pizza. But I would only eat bell peppers if that was the case. I found myself last year having bell peppers in my house. I don't know what we bought them for. I think we were going to stuff them or something like that. And I saw this thing, and I just had the urge to pick it up and just bite into it. I ate a raw bell pepper, going from somebody that had a gag reflex to the flavor of bell pepper to eating a raw one. It was the most zesty, delicious thing ever. At that moment in time, I enjoyed the hell out of that bell pepper. So, food's going to get really, really good. So that's a plus there, and it's a nice trade-off. How about the 72 hours since we made it to day 3? Within 3 days after quitting smoking, you'll often find yourself breathing more easily. This is because the bronchial tubes inside the lungs have started to relax and open up more. This makes air exchange between carbon dioxide and oxygen easier. In addition, your lung capacity or ability of the lungs to fill up with air increases about 3 days after quitting. So that breathing app definitely help you out. We're at the 3-day mark. You want to keep those bronchial tubes getting stronger and stronger. One thing that I want to leave you guys with and just mention to you is this. I am having a very easy time quitting this time around. And I know you don't want to hear that because there's a good chance that this is your first attempt at long-term quitting smoking. And you're probably pretty frustrated at this point and just gritting your teeth and bearing with it. And I've been there. In January 2017, I was there. And I think it was week 2, I just exploded on everyone, man. I freaking screamed and just was angry. And I had to go I had to start a bath and just go sit in the tub. And I was just sitting there thinking, man, you are such an asshole right now. And there was no reason for it. I knew it, but I couldn't help but be in that weird emotional state. The chemical dependency was that strong. And it was a struggle leading up to that 2-week mark. It was nonstop. So I feel you. If you're going through that right now, it might get worse before it gets better. The good news is, by the time I hit week 4 and even to week 6, I stopped thinking about smoking, which is the craziest part because it was almost a month straight for me of that's all I could think about. It was on my mind from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. And even, I think I dreamt about it a couple times. So, to let you know, your easiest part is going to come once you start getting to the point where you don't think about it anymore. And something that's helping me this time around is I've kind of already made my peace with it. I know what a full entire year of not smoking feels like for the first time since I became a smoker. I realized that it was very doable, but up to that point I had spent years and years and only gotten to maybe week 3 or 4. And then I would hit somebody's cigarette, and then I'd make it a little bit longer, thinking, I could just hit another cigarette, and that would tide me over until eventually I was like, I'm just gonna buy a pack because I'm tired of being a bum, or I'm tired of mooching off somebody, and then I go and buy my pack of cigarettes. I'd be right back into the thing all over again. I could never make it to that one part where all of a sudden I just didn't think about it anymore. So I want you to be strong. And I want to tell you that after you've quit for a long period of time, and if you happen to relapse, it is so much easier quitting the second time. Don't think because I've relapsed, oh man, I'm fully addicted and back into smoking again. This is going to be, it's so difficult, it's going to be impossible this time around. I don't want to go through all the suffering that I did last time. It actually, I'm not struggling at all. It's really, really strange. Because I was trying to time this with the new year coming into 2019. And props to all the people listening in the future in 2029. Props to you guys. Thanks for supporting me. And I hope I'm still alive and well and healthy and smoke-free. But I was trying to time this, and I was really getting concerned with it because I wasn't able to go even a couple hours without smoking. I wasn't mentally prepared to quit until the first. And now that the first arrived, I think I completely accepted it and made it super easy. So, I don't know. It's weird how much I guess it just goes to show how much control our brains have and how much it is a mind state thing more than a physical thing. Mind over matter. Don't get me wrong, and I definitely can feel the physical side. My body urging for a cigarette, but it's not as loud, not nearly as loud as it was the last time I quit, when I was allowing my mind to jump in and make that noise louder. I was letting my thought of, oh, I haven't had a cigarette, make that mental or that physical craving an even louder thing. Without a voice, it really is subtle and quiet. Anyways, I am proud of you guys. I think we're doing great. We need to make it to the 7-day mark. We are almost halfway through it, 3 days out of the week. We're in good shape. And I want you, instead of counting the amount of days that we've quit, I want you to focus on how many hours you've been without a cigarette. So at this point, we are at 72 hours. We need to get to 1,000. That's the benchmark. You make it to 1,000 hours, and I'm going to tell you a really interesting story about a Nirvana album cover. And I'm going to talk to you about it and have a nice, interesting conversation about it. 1,000 hours, and we'll have that dialogue. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 4.